I'm very excited to share our next story today. It's about a local author with a very touching book, and it's meant for folks out there whose children were premature or they've had premature children and they want to read to them. And let's talk more about this. I'm joined by author Deborah Klein. And Deborah, you created the book, Sammy the Salmon, and it is so sweet and so touching. Tell me more about this.
This is a story about my son, Sam, who was born at 26 weeks. He weighed 1 pound 13 ounces, and he stayed in the NICU for 3 months. So this is a very true story to my heart, and it's exactly how I felt at the time, and it just all came out on paper. And 10 years ago, I wrote it, and I carried it around on a legal pad for 10 years, and then a few months ago, I just got an illustrator, said I want to get this story out there for other families of premature babies to give them hope and, a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. And your story continues because having a premature baby, often you have to deal with developmental issues, but he is 13 at this point, right?
Thank you. Yeah, he's awesome. He just went into remission for juvenile arthritis that we discovered he had probably 1.5 years ago. So that's another big win, but he's doing great. He has speech therapy, and he has OT. He used to have PT, but he's awesome, and he's just full of life and just a great little guy.
And let's talk about your response so far from the book. What are people saying?
It really makes me cry because when I put it out there on Facebook and Instagram, I've gotten a lot of responses, and some are from grandmothers that, say this, my grandson weighed, 1 pound 12 ounces. And then others are actually from adults that say, we were preemie, we're 26, 36 now. And one mother was actually in the NICU because I put the video of me reading it out there. And she said she was in the NICU with her little premature baby, and it brought happy tears to her eyes because she read it. She saw me reading it while she was there. So I've gotten really awesome responses. I just hope to get it out there more to help, to help these people.
I would love for you to read some pages from this book.
I would love to. Thank you. Sammy the salmon was the smallest fish anyone had ever seen. He was so little, he was only the size of a lima bean. You see, Sammy was born early. Premature is what they say. To a mommy and daddy salmon that is so welcome this day. To care for and love Sammy back to health, they kept him in the hospital for fish. His mommy and daddy finally brought him home, and they got their greatest wish. And this is more the end part. Sammy the salmon grew up to be the absolute biggest salmon anyone had ever seen. He was sweet, smart, handsome, and lean. I guess the old saying, the best things come in small packages, is true, because we got the best thing the day you were born, our wonderful, precious you.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you also wanted the chance to give a shout out to some of the NICU nurses out there. Tell us about that.
Everyone was so awesome and caring and just beautiful and kind to us. There were 2 nurses that were assigned with Sam, and I have pictures of them. I don't remember their names, but I just wanted to give a shout out to those nurses, and especially because they held our hand, and they weren't just nurses, they were therapists also, I guess you could say, because they're there helping these families get through all of this, and they're really heroes and angels. And I just want to say thank you to everyone at the NICU for helping me to bring my son home healthy.
And speaking of your son, you have him there with you. And Sam, will you hang out with us as well?
Hi.
Hi. Sam, tell me about this book, and when you saw it for the first time, how did you feel about it?
I read it, and it was good.
Is there any particular part of the book that you think is your favorite?
The pictures of me.
And I understand, and I don't mean to embarrass you too much, but that you actually slept with the book afterwards. Why was that?
I don't know. I just forgot to take it out.
And is there anything that you want to say to folks out there? Why should they get this book?
Because it's a really good book, and they should
So, Deborah, if folks want you to either read to an area group or they want to buy your book, how can they do that?
They can find Sammy the Salmon on Amazon.com. It's Deborah Klein, Kline. And I also have an Instagram account. It's Sammy_the_salmon.